Sahana vavatu Sahano bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nisha Charachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Hari Om. The text that we'll be studying for this morning session is Atmabodha. It is an introductory text of Vedanta, and I'm very sure many of you might be studying it. I don't know how many times you've already done it, maybe 5th, 6th, 10th time. Some of you might have gone through different other introductory texts, and Atmabodha would definitely be one of that. Right? Whichever introductory text we study, most places wherever there is teaching of Vedanta, the first text is called as Atmabodha. Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji is the composer of Atmabodha, and it is said for us to get clear knowledge of the self, for us to go towards moksha. The path to go there is called as Prasthānatrayī. This we had seen in our Tattvabodha class. Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, and Bhagavad Gita. So these three are the main texts which are there, which will reveal the nature of truth. But the student who is expected to have, whatever qualifications or that kind of interest, that is a very different qualification which is needed for studying Prasthānatrayī. Meaning, Upanishad mantras which are there, they are not sometimes in a very sequential manner. The flow of thought in the Upanishad will sometimes look like it is jumping across many different ideas, because those were revelations to our rishis, and they just went on composing as and when it revealed to them. Brahma Sutra also the same thing. A lot of cross reference is done in Upanishads. So first we should know what are the mantras that are having the apparent contradictions, and then only Brahma Sutra starts making sense to us. Bhagavad Gita, although it looks simple, to get the tatparya, to get the essence of Bhagavad Gita, as the Upanishadic message is not easy. So many things are discussed in Bhagavad Gita that sometimes it is hard for a sadhaka to go and find what is the main essence and how does it relate to Upanishad. If somebody says, find out where is Mahavakya in Bhagavad Gita, then sometimes a student might have a question, oh, I thought Mahavakya means Tattvamasi. In Bhagavad Gita, there was no Mahavakya. So like this, Prasthānatrayī is a little advanced, and it is for us to reach to that point, to study Prasthānatrayī, we need some preparation. So out of their compassion, all our teachers, Mahatmas, they have composed Prakaraṇa granthas. And Atmabodha is one of those Prakaraṇa grantha. What is Prakaraṇa grantha? We had seen in Tattvabodha class. It is like a peeled banana. All ideas are systematically arranged. All fundamental doubts are cleared. And a very strong foundation is laid so that there are no fundamental mistakes in the thinking of the student. If somebody is reading Upanishad and they have a question whether Jnanam will give moksha or not, then they will study the Upanishad, but they won't benefit fully from what that Upanishad can offer. So if we study Prakaraṇa granthas in the beginning, so all of those points are taken care of. So it prepares this sadhaka by laying down certain foundational concepts, and then that sadhaka is able to benefit from Prasthānatrayī. We should not interpret this as Prakaraṇa grantha is a substitute for Prasthānatrayī. That is not the point. The point is to say, for us to prepare ourselves so that we start appreciating what is said in Upanishad, our Mahatmas have composed Prakaraṇa grantha. And Atmabodha, those who have studied might have noticed, but those who are studying it for the first time, the unique concept of Atmabodha is lot of examples are given. Okay, examples in Sanskrit, the word is Drshtanta. And the thing that you want to point out, that is called as Drshtanta. Okay. Example is Drshtanta, and what you want to point out through that example, that thing is called as Drshtanta. For example, if I say that in my hometown, there is a dish called as katkate. So you would wonder, katkate, what does that mean? So then I will say, okay, it looks like avial. Oh, then you say, okay, now I know avial, and you said it looks like avial. Is it avial? No, it is not the same. I'm not talking about avial. Katkate is like avial. Then I say that also has vegetables which are diced and put in that. Katkate also has vegetables just like this avial. So, okay, now I know the ingredient also. Is the gravy coconut based or something else? I say no, it is not coconut based. Okay, so then you know. So what is the similarity and what is the difference? When that happens, then gradually knowledge about what you want to point out, that starts taking place. Purpose is not to stay with the example. Avial is just an example. We want to go towards that main dish. So in the same way, now imagine if somebody has to give examples to point out nature of Atma. I think rather than saying nature of Atma, we should say nature of Atma, like this. Because even sometimes our gestures are such that it's always pointing Atma as something other than us. So imagine if somebody has to come up with examples to point out nature of that truth, Atman, which never becomes an object of knowledge. Means it doesn't become another object of sense organs. So how will you point out or bring examples? That is the mastery of Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji. Every example is very precisely chosen, and there is a purpose for which he is giving that example. More we can dwell on the example without getting stuck to that example. Okay, because example will have limitations, and if it doesn't have limitations, then it doesn't become an example. It would be the same thing then. Right? If you are taking the Drshtanta only and showing, then you are not served the purpose. So example will always be falling short somewhere. Good example is the one which will match in most components. Like for example, if you say Atman is like space. So space is all pervading, Atman is all pervading. Space is unaffected, Atman is unaffected. But space is inert, Atman is Chaitanya Swarupa. So we should know where things are aligning and where things are not aligning. Drshtanta in Sanskrit, the way it opens up is Drshtaha Antaha Nishchayaha. Means there or through which the conclusion is seen very clearly. That is called as Drshtanta. Drshtaha Antaha. Antaha means Nishchayaha, not the end. Nishchaya means the main message or the conclusion of something, that which is seen through a thing, that thing is called as Drshtanta. And Drshtanta should not do end of drishti. Some Drshtantas become such that by the time you understand that example, you forget what was it trying to say. So that is not what we are looking for. So that is the uniqueness of this text. Lot of fundamental concepts and example after examples. Once we had gone for Bombay Darshan after the end of our course. Swamiji had taken all the students, to temples only we had gone. Different temples were there, Siddhivinayak temple and so on. And in the city, we were around like 60 of us. So we had to wait in every place for around 15-20 minutes until the bus came, because it had to take a big detour and come. So during that time, one of our activity was, if Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji was to walk in today's time in this city of Bombay, what examples would he give? So you see so many modern day examples, right? Like there is a billboard somewhere, and then there are towering buildings which are there. So more you think about how these things can relate back to nature of self. You need a like-minded group, okay, to do this kind of discussion. Generally, if somebody else would look, they would wonder, what are these people doing? So that is Drshtanta related. Now, the word Atmabodha. Atmabodha literally means knowledge of Atman. But it becomes more precise if we say knowledge of I, or knowledge about myself. That is the best way. You say myself. Does that mean that, I don't know myself? In this statement also, you ask somewhere outside, who are you? You wonder, what kind of question are you asking? I am me myself. I am this person. At the most, it would be name of that person or some identity through some relationship that this person has. I am father of so and so, son of so and so. This Vedantin will ask, well, all of those have come with time. So before that person got married, were you not existing? If you say, I am husband of so and so, before marriage you were having some identity, right? You say, I was son of so and so. So like this, different identities are there, but we should understand that all of them are with regards to some other entity that we have associated with. There is something which is independent of all relationships, all associations that we have. That is called nature of Atman, which is our own true nature, which remains unaffected at any time. Clear knowledge about that is what we will get through Atmabodha. There are two words which we are probably seeing for the first time in these discourses. One is called as samanya jnanam, means vague idea or general idea about something. Another is called as vishesha jnanam. Vishesha jnanam means very clear and specific knowledge about that thing. So about Atman or about ourselves, we have samanya jnanam. Meaning what? We saw this in Drigdarsha Viveka also. That we know that we are sentient beings. Okay, we know that we are not inert, like this stand which is there, like this wall which is there. We are not inert like them, and we are sentient beings. Another thing we know is I exist. Unlike some entity which might be a theoretical concept, or which is, we are not sure whether it is there or not. Like example given is horns of a rabbit. So it is non-existent. We might even have a doubt about it, but regarding our existence, there is no doubt. Even if you turn off the lights, everything is turned off, and somebody asks, are you there? We won't say, I will ask somebody, or let me try to find out, let me try to touch myself and see if I am there. Say no. We have clear understanding that I exist. I am sentient and I exist. We also know sometimes that without any reason, there is a state where I am happy by myself. Sometimes with reasons I am happy, and there is a state during my day which is sleep, deep sleep, where I am happy without any objects being near me. But he said all these things which we are familiar with, but we don't know our true nature, devoid of the erroneous things which we have included in ourselves. Means we feel that I am sentient only until sentience is expressing in this body, in this mind. And once this body drops, my sentiency will go away. Once this body drops, my existence will cease to be. Samanya jnanam is, I am existing. What is the error there? Error is, I feel that my sentiency, my existence is dependent on something else. And what to talk about Ananda? In Ananda, we feel Ananda comes from some object outside. Ananda comes from some interaction, some situation. So Vedanta wants to point out that we are not sentient beings, we are of the nature of consciousness. That sun, you remember from Dirghadesha Viveka, that sun got reflected in this buddhi. And this ahankara got identified with this body. So, vishesha jnanam is clear knowledge of ourselves as Chaitanya Swarupa. I am not existing in this body, but in me, this entire creation is existing. In Sat Swarupa of this Atman, in that this entire creation is appearing. And I don't have to seek Ananda from one particular object or experience or situation. I am Ananda Swarupa, in which all Ananda is experienced. Ananda at the level of mind is experienced, but it doesn't even belong to that mind. It is my own true nature, which is reflected in a pure mind. So like this, vishesha jnanam is what we need. If samanya jnanam is there, then there is lot of doubts. And whichever knowledge is, filled with too many doubts, that knowledge doesn't save us. Like if you go to an airport and there they announce gate number 70A. And now you wonder whether you heard 17A or 70A. So once that doubt comes, you cannot move confidently neither to 17A nor to 70A. You will have to first go and resolve that doubt, get clear knowledge. What did they say? So in Vedanta also, for us to get clear knowledge about this Atman, we have to do thorough study. And only that clear knowledge will come and save us from our sorrows. Okay, that is why this text is called as Atmabodha, that which will give clear knowledge of the self. So with this introduction, we can go to the first verse, because that verse also gives some more introduction to the text. Beautiful verse. Okay. So I hope all of you have Puja Gurudev's commentary. And there is another commentary written by Padmapadacharya ji on Atmabodha. So we'll see ideas from that also. But the one that we'll be following for our main text is Puja Gurudev's commentary. Verse number 1. Tapobhikshina papanam, tapobhikshina papanam, shantanam vitaraginam, shantanam vitaraginam, mumukshunam apekshoyam, mumukshunam apekshoyam, atmabodho vidhiyate. Atmabodho vidhiyate. Tapobhikshina papanam, shantanam vitaraginam, mumukshunam apekshoyam, atmabodho vidhiyate. Somebody asked Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, why are you composing this Atmabodha? Do you understand that we all are living in Kali Yuga? Nobody will be interested in all this Atma Vidya, knowing about nature of Atman, doing sadhanas. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya is saying here that is not the case. No matter which yuga it is, there are some people who are of this kind. He will explain which kind, who will always want something deeper in life. For them, I am composing this text called as Atmabodha. Means he doesn't have any false hope. He doesn't say that, this will become something which is best-selling book everywhere. He says no, because the people who are looking for this kind of knowledge are very few. Who are they, who will benefit from this text? Tapobhihi kshina papanam. They are those who have done tapas in their life, who have lived a disciplined life, lived a devoted life to Bhagwan. And whatever was their kartavya, whatever was their duty, uncompromisingly they have done it. That itself is a tapasya. Wherever Bhagwan has placed us in our life right now, doing whatever is our kartavya with devotion to Bhagwan and sincerely doing it. At the level of body, tapasya is in the form of moderation, making sure that all our interactions are moderate. Cleanliness, all of that comes at level of body. At the level of speech, it comes to aligning our speech with our convictions, with our mind, and thinking before we speak. Even if we have the vague fear that this statement which I'm going to say might hurt this other person, withdrawing from that. This is an ability. Sometimes we become so helpless in speech that even if we don't want to say it, we end up saying it, which is okay. But later on, we should just look back and say, what did I want to do? What did I end up doing? So those who have controlled their speech, Bhagwan says that is a great tapas. All these are from 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Those who are very sensitive before speaking and very measured in their speech. Those who have lived a life like that, they are tapasvi. So at the level of body, moderation, at the level of speech, being mindful, and at the level of mind also, trying to keep a pleasant mind as much as possible. Sometimes you might say, oh, that is a result what I'm looking for. Bhagwan in 17th chapter says that is one kind of tapasya. Means whatever resolve we make for ourselves, we find ourselves going in that direction. Let us say, we know that there is some meeting that we have to be a part of, and there is some topic that will come up which will disturb the whole setting. Or there might be somebody there, who is very outspoken or whatever, because of which the whole situation can get shaken a little. Going into that meeting with this mindset that no matter what happens, I will remain cheerful. And this cannot come to a person with conviction unless they have devotion in Bhagwan. Means there is a sentient principle who is controlling this entire creation. Why should I get so worked out about one situation? In this entire creation which is running so systematically, why insist upon one small portion? So this mindset gives this sadhaka a confidence to remain cheerful most of the times. So when somebody has lived a life like this, done their duty, done their dharma, whatever was assigned to them in their varnashrama dharma, they have sincerely done it, but not only done that job, but also offered it to Bhagwan. sadhanam prabhavet pumsam tapasa haritoshanat. In Aparokshanubhuti, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji says, all qualifications will come to us when we do our dharma, but also do it for pleasing Bhagwan. So what is the result now after doing this? After doing this tapasya, it is said, Kshina papanam. Of those people, their tendency to commit papa karma will go down. Because mind has started finding joy in sattvic places now. Why does a person commit papa karma? Actually, any karma that we do is for gaining happiness. And in this person, the conviction has formed that in that particular karma there is happiness. And if it is forbidden for that person, then it brings papa karma. That karma brings papa. But let us say this sadhaka has found sattvic places to be happy. His sadhana itself gives joy. The work that he is doing, he has found a new altar, found a new meaning in that work. Mind is pleasant because of he has trained his mind to go into situations and be strong. Does not get into too much trouble because speech is very measured. Now, if such a person is there, naturally the result will be kshina papanam. Means there won't be this urge to do something which is against dharma. All these are qualities of this person who will benefit from Atmabodha, or for whom Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is composing Atmabodha. Kshina papanam shantanam. Shantana means there are other pursuits in life that has quietened down. They have analyzed life, they have lived through life and seen the limitations of things. So Vyavahara, which is there, that is already very well taken care of. Because that is why you will find in Atmabodha, there are not many sadhanas which are listed. The antidote for problems in Vyavahara is sadhana, for which other texts are there. Like Sadhana Panchakam, you won't find too many concepts or deep philosophical points. So over here, Bhagwan is saying the sadhaka who is going to benefit the most from Atmabodha is the one who has become quiet. Their rajas has gone down. Rajoguna, which will push this sadhaka, which had pushed this sadhaka earlier to do so many other things with the goal of getting happiness from those things, that tendency has gone down. And this sadhaka has very keenly observed things in life. And this point, again and again, we should remember that the one who is going to benefit the most from Vedanta, or one who is fit to study Vedanta, is not only somebody who has failed in everything else, he could not find anything, then he came to Vedanta. In fact, it is the other way. Most students whom we see in Upanishads, like Shaunak Rishi, Shaunako hoye Mahashalaha. He was not ordinary grahastha, but a great grahastha, means very, very well-to-do, and he used to serve the society, serve the community. That Shaunaka, he comes to Angirasa Rishi and asks for Brahma Vidya. So Shantanam are those who have very keenly observed limitations of this world. No matter which object we have, gained or brought for ourselves, there was a time when there was a charm. It had a charm. But after some time, it has started fading away. So many things might be there in our garage or, closet or wherever. We don't even know that this thing is there. The same thing which had given so much joy when it came. With regards to situations, what to talk about them? Situation of just few months ago seems like a dream. Everything has changed, people have changed. So many different situations keep changing. So now what is the point here? If our idea was that object will give happiness, situation will give happiness, they have changed. Their nature has changed. That means our happiness also will keep changing up and down. Somebody who doesn't want that kind of happiness, understood limitations of the world, that sadhaka is now keenly looking for some other source. That is where this vishesha jnanam part comes. Okay, vishesha jnanam means gaining clear knowledge about what is that nature of happiness. Upanishads say what you are searching for is you yourself. But I don't see it that way. What should I do? You said do more sadhana, quieten the mind, then this truth will stand very clearly in front of us. Tapobhi kshina papanam shantanam, those whose mind has been quietened and they are looking for something deeper in life. Vitaraginam, from whom raga dveshas have gone away. Strong attachment towards some person, some object, or strong hatred towards some person or some object. Means if that is there, then Atmabodha will not appeal very much to this person. Vitaraginam, another way to understand it is, even if, let us say, some raga dveshas are there, this person is not swayed by those raga dvesha. Means they don't repeatedly come to bother this person. Sometimes we should analyze just a sample of our mind and look at what is the content at that point in this mind. Is it about some work that we are doing? Is it about some person? Or is it about some other topic altogether? Or is it about Vedanta? So Vitaraginam are those who are, even if, let us say, other things are there, right? Work-related thoughts are there, relationships, everything else, it is there. But at least during Shravanam, they are able to keep that away. That is a great ability, helpful in all spheres. Being able to clear our mind from whatever things were there before, at least for this short period of time. So those who have done tapasya, who have quietened their mind, they will become of this nature, vitaraginam. Raga dveshas will not catch hold of them too much. This advice we had seen recently in Bhagavatam. Gokarnaji tells to his father, Atmadeva. He says, for how long will you keep analyzing these raga dveshas? Some person, some object towards whom we have strong opinions, he said it's only a matter of time. They will go on their path, we will go on our path, and we'll realize how much of a waste of time it was just to think about those things. So one who is purified of all these raga dveshas, what is the result of all these things now? tapasya has happened, this person has become kshina papa, sinful tendencies have gone down, become quiet, raga dveshas have gone away. It is said those are all preparations. What should happen after all of these is that there should be a sincere desire to know what is the nature of Atman, to know ourselves. But not anyhow, know ourselves by taking shelter of Upanishads, by going to a teacher and doing thorough Shravanam with the conviction of gaining this knowledge. And limitations from the world, they are also constantly ringing in this head of this sadhaka. But now he has found an alternate place where solution is available. So that sadhaka who has an intense desire to know this Atman, know the nature of absolute happiness, but takes shelter of knowledge, that sadhaka becomes a mumukshu. Mumukshunam apekshoyam. Keeping those sadhakas in mind, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is saying, I am composing Atmabodha. So the main essence of this Mangalacharanam shloka, introductory shloka, is that we should own up an identity for ourselves that we are sadhakas. Very, very strong identity that we should own up. And this is that identity which will lead us towards our absolute nature as Brahma. There is one stage in our life which is called as Pamara. Pamara means one who just wants to enjoy things in this world by hook or crook. That person doesn't care about means, doesn't care about any other dharma or anything. That person is called Pamara. And we should not have doubt whether we were there or not. We might have been there at some point. Then comes Vishayi. Vishayi means somebody who wants enjoyment, but he wants to get enjoyments through dharma. Wants to work very hard, get whatever is needed. That person is called as Vishayi. But having done all of that, some satsang happens somewhere, some limitations get shown to this sadhaka, and this sadhaka now holds on to it. So that same Vishayi becomes sadhaka. So sadhaka vritti is something where we think for ourselves that I am not this only physical body. I'm not only this physical body. There is something more in me which has continued since a long time. I have taken several births, and I might end up taking several births ahead if I don't understand the nature of truth. But let us say, for some reason, there has to be journey ahead. Let it be in good places. Let it be in places where we can continue our spiritual study. So this vritti, one who has, they will start focusing more on tapobik shina papanam shantanam vitaraginam. Means they will start doing more of tapasya, start taking up some sadhana with which mind gets purified more and more. And when that happens, this same sadhaka becomes Siddha Purusha. Having done sufficient sadhana, having gained this knowledge, then gradually working over it, purifying themselves more and more. Nature of Atman doesn't need purification. What needs purification is our mind. Okay, the ability to hold on to this knowledge, and most importantly, use this knowledge when situations come in our life. So that is determined by what is the purity of mind. So this is a journey of a jiva, starting with pamara, then goes to vishayi, then becomes sadhaka. That is where we should ask ourselves, are we fitting this category or not? And Upanishads promise us it will lead us to siddha. So this was a very general introduction to this text. And as I said, it is more of concept oriented. And from next verse onwards, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji takes up a question which comes to many of us. Why are they so insistent on knowledge will give moksha, knowledge will give moksha? It looks like, a fanatic statement that people make sometimes. Why is it so? So those points Bhagwan will elaborate. And we will have Q&A sessions as we generally did. So you can think about whatever we discussed and then submit them in Google form, or even here you can ask. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. There were some questions from Drishtanta Viveka, so we'll just see them quickly. Dream state is often quoted as an example for understanding the unreal nature of the transactional world, and how when we wake up from the dream, all transactional joys and sorrows experienced in the dream state do not impact us. I believe it is said that similarly, when we wake up from waking state to the turiya, then we will similarly realize that all transactional joys and sorrows of the waking world is also unreal. My question is, if the examples or analogy between two states is identical, then why do we need to put so much effort, such as chitta shuddhi, to move from waking state to turiya? Whereas it seems like there is no effort needed to wake up from dream state. Right. Any example, it looks like this only. It looks, example is so simple. Snake and rope, very clearly I can understand. But why do we need to put so much effort when it comes to understanding that this ahankara is snake and Atman is that rope? So a couple of points here. Turiya is not another state. Maya Sankhya Turiyam. Turiya is not like another state which I'm going to experience at some time. This is another fundamental point. Turiya is that which is the substratum of all three states of experiences. So coming from dream to waking is an example, like what we saw today, right? Drshtanta. So we should not extrapolate that Drshtanta to Darshtanta. Meaning what? We should not say that, okay, right now I'm in some state, and there will come some time when I will go to a state called as Turiya. So Turiya is the substratum of all our experiences. But what has happened is we have mixed up the experienced, and we think that only that is real. Just like in dream, so now you see, example we are taking. In dream, what is happening? That same waking mind alone is projecting everything which is there. The people who are walking in dream, the objects which are there in dream, everything is the same waking mind which is projecting. There is no other ingredient there. So this vyapti, this, correlation we get from dream state. That whatever is seen is an appearance. Whatever is drishya is only an appearance, it is not actually there. So then we come to the waking state, where knowledge takes place, to say that waking, dream, deep sleep, all three states are drishya and they are an appearance in consciousness. Okay, so from that example, we have come to this knowledge. Now, if somebody asks, why is it so difficult for us to own up this knowledge or understand this? One of the critical point is vyavahara. If somebody has too much insistence on vyavahara, then this adhisthana jnanam will not be appreciated. Just like if we have gold and ornament, right? If somebody's attention is only on ornament, the name and form, then trying to tell them about gold, about the substratum, that is not of too much of use. I mean, their attention is always with nama rupa, and vyavahara is always done with nama rupa. So vyavahara is more, so vyavahara, the way we should understand is trying to seek happiness from objects in the world. If that is strong, no matter how much you say that world is mithya, ahankara is mithya, you say that is all okay, but I am going to get happiness from this world only. That is why this sadhaka has to become tapobhikshina papanam. Don't run away from anything, but stay there and become sensitive to the limitations. To that sadhaka who is looking for, is there any solution or not? To that sadhaka, this dream analogy, example, everything will make sense. They'll be able to appreciate it more and also live in this world as and how is needed. Not doing something strange or anything. But this knowledge is always there that this is not the only reality. Okay, so this is that kshina papanam, which will help us own up this knowledge. And in whichever text that we study, wherever body is criticized, other things are criticized, it is not only for the sake of criticizing. It is for us to show those limitations that we ourselves would not have seen. Right? Like those of you who might have studied Vivek Chudamani, lot of criticism is there about physical body. That what all things are there inside and how it has been made. And yet we start feeling that we feel it is so dear to us. One who has done this inquiry, to that person you say, this body is chhaya sharire pratibimba gatre. This body is only like a shadow. So that person will be able to own up this knowledge in a deeper way. Because he has realized that there is no sukham that is going to come from this body. Okay, so why do we need to put forth effort? Because there is a lot of vyavahara mahatva, importance given to vyavahara, that should go down. That is why we need chitta shuddhi. And turiya is not another state. That is why knowledge is needed. That example we had seen of that lion, the marble lion. So what we need there is not non-perception of that lion. What we need there is clear knowledge that it is only a stone. So here also, we don't need non-perception of these avasthas, non-perception of the world. But what we need is knowledge that this world is an appearance in consciousness, and not stop there. Go to the next step and say, This consciousness is me, myself. So this Shravanam, when we continuously keep doing, a lot of ideas get clearer, and then it is up to us, how much we want to own it up. Nobody can help us in that aspect. Because our sadhana, we have to do. Allowing knowledge to work, we have to allow that knowledge to work. Seer-seen relationship, which is the principle 3, the seer cannot see itself and the seen cannot see itself. Does this mean that Sakshi or consciousness cannot see itself? It need not see itself because it is Chaitanya Swarupa. You are able to see something only if it is Jada. Put it other way, whatever is seen is inert. So if Sakshi ends up seeing Sakshi, then Sakshi will become inert. So that rule is to show, first, seer and seen are different, and they cannot be dependent on each other. Meaning what? Eyes cannot see eyes, mind cannot see mind. So in that way it is said, Sakshi does not see Sakshi, and it need not also. Okay, it is with the illumination of Sakshi only this entire creation is seen. Okay, another question is about Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Bheda. What is, Sajatiya, Vijatiya? So the question was asking about that there is difference in, different species and everything that we see. So I will just touch upon it very briefly. All classes we have seen it more elaborately. That whole process, that whole portion that we saw was just to show that in Atma there is no Sajatiya Bheda, there is no Vijatiya Bheda, there is no Swagata Bheda. To explain what is this Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata, we took an example from this world, which was that tree example. Okay, so Sajatiya means there is a family of trees. All of them are belonging to tree family, but within them there are differences. So it is not that there is a family of consciousness and within consciousness there are differences. So Sajatiya Bheda is not there. Swagata Bheda means within that tree, leaf is not same as the fruit, fruit is not same as the bark, and so on. So there is Swagata Bheda in that tree because it has parts. There are differences. Whereas in Atman, there are no differences. There are no parts to begin with. So there is no Swagata Bheda also. Vijatiya Bheda means there is sentient being like a tree and there is some inert thing like a rock. So between a tree and a rock, there is Vijatiya Bheda. So in Atman, other than Atma, there is nothing else. This is a critical point. This was the question actually. They say there is Atman and there is a tree. So I see that there is consciousness and there is matter. How do you say that there is no Vijatiya Bheda? You see, this point if we understand, then we have understood a lot of Advaita Vedanta. Vedanta's purpose is to tell us that whatever we are seeing, whatever is seen as this matter, that matter is an appearance in consciousness. It doesn't have its independent existence. Okay, so just like if you have that rope and snake, there are not two entities there, there is only one entity. There is no Vijatiya Bheda between rope and snake. That snake which is appearing is an illusion. So this we have to dwell in our meditation. Okay. See, these points you cannot apply in Vyavahara, and we should not also. And try to mix both of it. That is not what Vedanta wants us to do. Paramartha should be understood as Paramartha, and sadhana should be done to be trouble-free in Vyavahara. Okay. So this creation is an appearance in consciousness. That is the main point. All right. Okay. So if there are any other questions about what we discussed, we can take it next time. Hari Om, everyone. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.